I've read every book on the history of rock music.
Gosh, Paushi, rock and roll isn't about books. It's about letting go and having fun. Rock and roll is a way for you to tell the world how you feel.
Feel about what?
Expressing yourself. I mean, what do you do when you're angry?
Math.
Okay, what about when you're sad?
Math.
Happy?
Math.
So every feeling you have makes you want to do math?
I do not know if it is so much cause and effect. I do a lot of math. The feelings come and go.
Hey everyone, it's Miss Gubrood. We're playing with power tools today and math, because what's better than power tools and math? So, I've got great helpers here, and we are installing some bike racks up here. As you can see, we've got one partly installed. I've put in 2 screws already to hold it up there. We had to level it too. And now, the whole thing to hold this up, to have it be super sturdy, needs 6 screws. So it's one wall bracket with a ratio of 1 to 6. 1 wall bracket to 6 screws. So, we're going to be doing some math. Cut. Okay, so we're here to try the first bike. Here it is. We got our bracket up there. We use 6 screws. All right, let's see what we got. Now, this is not probably a good system for easy in and out in the summer, but for storage for the winter, we're feeling pretty excited about it. I put it through there, then I let it go. Ta-da! Sweet! All right, what a good project. Math, hooray! All right, hey everyone, it's Miss Gubrood. I'm back. You can see our project is going pretty well. So we've got one bike up, and I've got the second holder there, the second bracket up, and we've got the 4 places for our bikes. You can see those now. So I had to reinforce it, so I ended up putting some lag screws in too. So let me see if I can show you those. Oh, here they are. All right, so I put some lag screws in. You can see those are pretty long and very heavy duty, because this is going to have to hold up a lot of weight. So we now have 3 lag screws into the studs and 6 of the screws that came with the brackets. So that's an interesting ratio problem there too. So you see, math is all around us. Ratios are all around us, and they help us build things. So that's cool. Okay, here it is. Here's the finished deal. You can see we got all 4 bikes hanging. Actually, even got a scooter hanging there. You can see I organized my power tools. We organized our garden supplies. And I still have some additional brackets that I need to put up. So we're going to have to solve some proportions. Remember, ratios and proportions are related because proportions are just 2 equivalent ratios, and one number is missing. So we're going to have to do some math on that to figure out how many more regular size screws I need that came with the brackets, and then how many more lag screws. So that's going to be a fun time. Thanks for watching me do some math in my garage. All right, let's get ready to use our ratios and proportions on site and do some math with it. So let me show you what we're going to think about today with that fun experience out in the garage. Okay, so if you remember, if you're using the word per when describing something, it's probably a rate. Rates compare one thing to a standard like time or cost or something. Ratios compare 2 different amounts of 2 different things. So on this lesson, you want to really think to yourself the difference between rates and ratios, because this lesson is on ratios. You're going to be choosing something on site, on your site, that compares 2 different things. So here we go. Here's my ratios on site. Remember, I had included the regular screws, those regular screws that came with those brackets. There were 6 of them per bracket. They came included. But that wasn't strong enough. I had to add some additional lag screws to really make sure that they were stuck on there tight. So here, remember, I had 6 regular screws, the ones included, and then for each bracket, then I included lag screws. Do you hear how I'm saying for each bracket? That's that standard. So the rate is 6 screws per bracket. The extra is 3 lag screws per bracket. But when I put those two together, when I squish those two rate tables together, I get a ratio table. I get 6 to 3 included regular screws to lag screws. Or I can flip it around. I could say lag screws to regular screws is 3 to 6. You can put it either way. But when I squish it together, I'm comparing those two things, not per bracket. I'm comparing 6 to 3. Those are those two numbers. It is a little confusing. You have to play with it and practice it. That's what this lesson is going to give you a chance to do, to play with it and practice it. Now, remember that proportions are equivalent ratios. So you see our ratio table here. Let me see if our thing is working today. Oh, hey, it is. Cool. Look at that. So here's our ratio table. There it is. Uh-oh, it's freezing again. I don't know why it keeps doing that. There it is. There's our ratio table. And remember, a proportion is in equivalent ratios with one missing. So there is part. There's one ratio. But look at that. There's an equivalent ratio, but there's information missing. Here's another equivalent ratio with information missing. There's another equivalent ratio with information missing. So proportions are just like taking 2 rows out of a ratio table. Let's see what that looks like. All right, I gotta get rid of that a second. There we go. There we go. Proportions. Proportions are, we can think of them like our factor puzzles. So look how I took the numbers from the previous ratio table and I put them into the factor puzzle. There are the two, included screws to lag screws, included screws to lag screws. Then I just took another of the rows in my ratio table and I put it down into a factor puzzle. One of the ones that had a missing number, if you remember, there it is, was 36. 36, and I didn't know how many lag screws. So this says, if I count up all my included screws, and I have 36 of them, how many lag screws do I need to buy in order to be able to put up that many brackets effectively and make sure they're really stuck on the wall? So we knew that for the 6 that were included in the package, I needed to buy an additional 3 lag screws. So it was 6 to 3. What if I have 36 regular screws? How many lag screws do I need? That is a rows out of our ratio table, and we've also turned it into a factor puzzle. Now, we're going to go ahead and solve that factor puzzle, and we will find the answer to the missing number in the proportion. So these are proportions when you take those 2 rows out of your ratio table. Now, you all get to do a Flipgrid on this with your thing that you choose around your house. Now, don't worry, I'm giving you some examples. Do not choose my examples. I don't want to see my examples right back on the Flipgrid video. I want you to take the ideas that I offer you and think of something you can do on your own so that it's your thing, not my thing. And if you can think of something totally different that I haven't thought of, even cooler. So stay tuned for some additional ideas. And then you're going to take a short little video. You're going to create you're going to create a ratio table, and you're going to create, just like you're looking right here, you're going to create a proportion that looks like a factor puzzle and solve it. That's today's lesson. It's on site. That means it's on your site. We'll see you in a minute. All right, you're thinking about what ratios you could show in and around your space, your house, outside, wherever you may be. So I'm going to give you some examples. Now, you can't take my examples. They're just to help you notice that ratios are all around us. So, for instance, I love plants. You can tell that because you see all of these plants in my windows. And I also love pictures of our friends and family. So I decided, what if I took all and counted up all the plants and all of the pictures in our kitchen and compared those two numbers. So let's walk with me and let's see what we got. All right, there's another picture. All right, now we're on the fridge. This is like picture heaven. Look at all these pictures. We got a ton of adorable family and friends here. Now check this out. Holy cow. Take a look at some of these faces. These kids are pretty cute. Hey, that was pretty fun to film, I'm not going to lie. All right, so look at all these pictures. All right, let's go around the other side. There's a lot of our other family and friends. Okay, so that's a lot of the pictures. Now, what about, let's see some more plants. Okay, oh, hey, there's another picture. Now, check out these plants. These are our silly plants. These are pictures of us as plants. So there are silly plant faces. So they count as both. All right. So when I count up all the plants, including our silly hair plants, and all of the pictures, this is what I get. Plants to pictures, 8 to 28. So that's one ratio that I could use, and I could create then a ratio table and a proportion. What if I had kept this same ratio of plants to pictures in every room of my house? All right, I counted 7 rooms in my house. That means I would have 56 plants. And how many pictures would that be? Dude, let's go to another example. All right, we're going in the fridge. Have you been picking up those lunches at school? I hope so. Take a look at this. We've got chocolate milk to white milk. What is the ratio of chocolate milk to white milk? The ratio I see is 10 chocolates to 5 whites. Now, if we didn't drink any and we just kept piling up the milk week after week after week, how many would there be? Okay, there it is. There's the ratio, chocolate to white, 10 to 5. And after 4 weeks, we would have 20 white milks. And how many chocolates would we have? There's the factor puzzle. That's the proportion. 10 to 5 is how many to 20? All right, here's one more example. This is a bin for school of where we keep pencils and pens and markers. So let's do the ratio of pencils to other writing utensils. All right, there it is. Pencils, 9. Other writing utensils, 21. So the ratio is 9 to 21. But wait a minute. What if we said, we don't really need that many pencils and writing utensils. It might be time to clear out. Your mom or your dad or grandma, grandpa, whoever you live with says, man, that's too much. It's time to clean out and share. So what if we only had 3 pencils, but kept to the same ratio? How many other writing utensils would we have? There it is. There's the factor puzzle. We had 9 pencils to 21 writing utensils. Now we want to only keep 3 pencils and share the rest with someone else. How many other writing utensils would we have? All right, there you have it. Some great examples. Do not copy my examples, but take ideas that I found things everywhere, all over the house to compare. Now it's your turn to make a cool video. Make your Flipgrid and show us your ratios. Have an awesome time with ratios and proportions on site.